No global power, including China, currently has the capability to match the dominance of the U.S. Navy. The sheer size and advanced technology of America's naval fleet surpasses that of all other nations combined. While countries like China operate only a few aircraft carriers, the U.S. boasts 11 supercarriers, including the cutting-edge Ford-class carriers, which allow it to project power across the world at any time. Beyond just numbers, the U.S. Navy leads in technology, firepower, submarines, and access to global ports, making it the most formidable naval force on the planet. In fact, rather than being compared to any single country, the U.S. Navy likely remains stronger than the combined naval fleets of multiple nations. However, the key question is, will America's dominance at sea continue? With China rapidly expanding its fleet of aircraft carriers, warships, and submarines, could it challenge U.S. supremacy? And is the American naval fleet, especially its aircraft carriers, experiencing a decline? To continue delivering such content, we appreciate your support and motivation. Thank you. Even though the U.S. Navy remains the most powerful, it faces significant challenges. One of the biggest concerns is the availability of aircraft carriers. While the U.S. has 11 supercarriers, many of them are either undergoing maintenance or preparing for deployment at any given time. This means that only 2 or 3 carriers are typically operational at sea at once, creating a shortfall in active deployment. For instance, when the USS Eisenhower was sent to the Middle East in 2023 for operations against the Houthis, it gained global attention due to its past combat record. However, because there weren't enough available carriers to replace it, Eisenhower had to extend its mission beyond the planned timeline. This shortage forced the U.S. to redeploy another carrier from the Indo-Pacific region, impacting naval operations in that area. Similarly, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most technologically advanced carrier in the world, had to remain in service for an extended period due to conflicts in the Middle East. Once it returned, it underwent months of maintenance, rendering it unavailable for further missions. Another major challenge is the lengthy maintenance process. When a carrier returns from deployment, its full refurbishment and upgrades can take several months or even years. The issue is not just time, it's also a lack of skilled personnel. The U.S. faces a shortage of trained mechanics and technical experts required for carrier maintenance, and recruiting new professionals is proving difficult. Additionally, the supply chain for spare parts has been severely affected, especially after COVID-19, and has yet to recover fully. Compounding this problem is the dwindling number of shipyards in the U.S. capable of constructing and repairing warships. 50 years ago, the U.S. had 19 shipyards, but today, only 4 remain operational. This has led to major delays in both ship maintenance and new carrier construction. As a result, several crucial American warships and aircraft carriers often remain unavailable for deployment. For example, the USS George Washington and USS John C. Stennis were delayed for 2 years before they could return to active service. Nuclear-powered carriers also require refueling every 25 years, and any unforeseen issues in this process can extend their maintenance period even further, reducing the Navy's operational readiness. Thus, while the U.S. may have the world's largest naval fleet, the real challenge lies in maintaining a sufficient number of operational warships. Aircraft carriers are highly complex war machines that require continuous upkeep, and without proper maintenance, they become ineffective. Even the most advanced carrier, the USS Ford, remained docked for months awaiting repairs. On the other hand, China is quickly emerging as a formidable naval power, challenging America's dominance. The Jiangnan shipyard in northeastern Shanghai alone has the capacity to surpass the entire U.S. naval shipbuilding industry. China's shipbuilding output is now 350 times greater than that of the United States. Unlike the U.S., which has struggled to maintain its shipbuilding capabilities, China is expanding its fleet at an unprecedented pace. After World War II, the U.S. assumed it no longer needed a large navy and reduced investments in naval modernization. The collapse of the Soviet Union further reinforced this belief, leading to deep budget cuts in the naval sector. According to defense analysts, if the U.S. had maintained its 1989 naval budget, it would have had an additional $1.3 trillion for fleet upgrades and shipbuilding by 2023. This lack of investment has resulted in outdated shipyards and reduced naval capacity. Meanwhile, China has rapidly become the world's leading shipbuilding nation. In 1980, China produced only 220,000 tons of commercial shipping annually, but today, that figure has skyrocketed to 12.5 million tons, an astonishing 190-fold increase over 4 decades. China's share in the global shipbuilding market, which was just 10% in the late 1990s, has now surged to 65%. This means that 2 out of every 3 commercial ships worldwide are now built in China. Conversely, the U.S. once had a significant presence in shipbuilding, but most of its shipyards have since closed. While America once accounted for 5% of global ship production, that figure has now dropped to a mere 0.13%. In contrast, South Korea and Japan together hold 31% of the market, and the U.S. has sought South Korean assistance to overcome its shipbuilding workforce and technological challenges. You might wonder why commercial shipbuilding capacity is relevant to military power. The answer lies in China's National Defense Transport Law, passed in 2016, which allows the Chinese Navy to convert commercial ships for military use during wartime or national emergencies. This law extends beyond ships to include air and land transport. As part of this civil-military fusion policy, China designs its commercial vessels so they can be quickly adapted for military purposes if needed. The Chinese military has already started using these commercial ships in military exercises, transporting tanks and other war equipment. Additionally, China has developed a missile system that is disguised as a standard shipping container. This means that any commercial cargo ship can secretly transport and launch long-range cruise missiles from anywhere in the world. This innovation could significantly alter naval warfare by enabling surprise attacks, challenging the U.S. Navy's dominance at sea. However, the U.S. has also developed and successfully tested a similar missile system. For now, America still holds the advantage in naval power. The U.S. possesses more aircraft carriers than China, and they are significantly more advanced. Additionally, America has greater global access to naval bases and airfields, allowing it to sustain worldwide military operations. Looking ahead, the total number of U.S. aircraft carriers is unlikely to increase significantly by 2040. While new carriers will be introduced, older ones will be retired, keeping the total at around 12. Meanwhile, China is rapidly expanding its fleet, including a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier equipped with electromagnetic catapult launch technology, an advanced feature currently found only in U.S. carriers. The race for naval supremacy is intensifying, and while the U.S. maintains its dominance for now, China's rapid advancements could reshape the global balance of power in the coming decades.